Yeah, I mostly base my list off like personal
Uh-huh.
opinions. Cause there's
Right.
some albums like I really wanted, some albums I really want to include, but I may not like the album as much as quote unquote artist fan base, which I'm gonna explain that in a minute. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You have any honorable mentions?
Um,
No.
maybe one, two or three.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I got a couple honorable mentions. Yeah, for sure.
Some artists you're gonna be surprised I put on the list. To be real with you,
Oh, I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't. Legion, what's up?
Hey, G Mo, salute, go Knicks.
Yeah, man.
And
AZ
you know,
still
I
got.
just got the idea just from looking at that post. That's why I sent you it. Hey, Uncle Freezy, salute. Let's go Knicks.
Oh shit, Freezy's here. What's up? What were you saying?
You mentioned Drake. No, Drake's not on this list. No Drake. I wasn't even thinking about Drake when I was talking when I made the list. Yes, I want them to sweep the Sixers, man. I'm hearing people say Knicks in six, and now I want them to sweep them.
Did you end up seeing Michael yet?
Nah, I gotta. I wanna go see that. Maybe this week.
Got you.
I don't know.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear your opinion on it.
Mr. Cheeks. No man, they got two good albums. What do you mean? They don't have five. We doing 5 album runs. They don't have five.
Did you put Jermaine Jackson?
Nah, no. Jermaine got like maybe two good albums too. Yeah, 5 album runs, and it's not all hip hop because it's not too many like hip hop artists that had like 5 album runs. It's a couple, and then we gotta go into like other genres. The three is easy. I think there's more artists with three in hip hop than five, but
Yeah,
it's hard to do five though. And I'm talking about
yeah.
like all five is good. Like not just it's like 3 or 4 good ones, and then the last one sucks. He said
You
Stevie
know what?
Wonder.
Let's get started. Fuck it, I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What's up, you two? How y'all doing? It's your boy Reg in the building. Got my homeboy trying the building with me. What's goody?
Yo, it's good.
Um, so this is pretty much just going to be a list that was pretty much Try's idea because I thought we were going to do it on your channel and everything like that too. But I was like, fuck it. We're gonna do the best artist with a 5 album run. Now we've seen lists where it says 3 album runs and 4 album runs, and I'm gonna be real with you, those are pretty easy. So the 5 album run was a pretty hard choice because there may be some albums that I like, well the fans don't like, or the fans crave, but I kind of about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of these, a lot of these artists definitely a lot of these artists definitely holds a special place and everything like that too, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, I'm definitely ready. You can start it off with number 10.
All right. So this is like the top 10 of any genre. Like artists that had like 5 album runs.
Yes.
So number 10 I got my and it really I mean it's not in no particular order. I just wrote it down how I was making out the list. But number 10 is Janet Jackson. Um like I said, Janet is a legend, but her first two albums before she actually met up with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis was straight trash, right?
Right.
And when you get to Control is what 86.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to Control, and she links up in Minnesota with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and they gave her a masterpiece on the album with Nasty and What Have You Done For Me Lately, When I Think of You, Control. That was a classic album. That was like the first beginning of the first one, and then Rhythm Nation is 90, I think. What year was Rhythm Nation?
89.
89. Rhythm Nation, a more social and political album. Great album. That's an album that even the record label didn't like. But Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Janet stuck to their guns, and they put out that great album with Miss You Much and Black Cat, Escapade, the joint with Heavy D. What was the joint? I forgot the name of that joint. All right. Yeah. That was a great album, right? Then you get to 93 with the Janet album, and another great album, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, that she puts out. That's the Way Love Goes, and If, Funky Big Ben, I think Anything was on that album as well. And at the same time, she put out she had did Poetic Justice, and that was a great album, right? Then you get to 97, I think 98.
97.
97 was Velvet Rope, another great album. She had a lot of dance tracks on it, hip hop tracks. You got the first single was "God Till It's Gone," produced by Q-Tip and Dilla. Rest in peace to Dilla. Q-Tip is on that. You got Together Again. That was on that album. Go Deep. I guess So Lonely. She put out the remix for that with Blackstreet. Great album. Then you get to 2000. You get to All For You album. Great album. She had different producers on that album besides Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, but that was a great album. She had It's All For You, and I forgot the other songs that she put out. Like, did she have like the joint with Missy on that, or was that the latter album?
I want to say that was a Demeter Joe album.
Okay. I forgot the other singles, but I know All For You was like a big hit. She sampled the Luther Vandross song. But to me, that was like her 5-album run. When you after All For You, when you get to like Discipline and Demeter Joe, 20YO, they were okay, but they wasn't classic albums. And at that time, she was dating Jermaine Dupri. He had did some stuff for her. Kanye West had produced some stuff for her, during that time, and she still had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, but it wasn't like classic material, like nothing I would go back to. But I think like the stretch from like 86 to 2000 was like she became an icon. She was on the same level as her brother, and she
Right.
that's when she made her best music. Like pick any of those 5 albums. Like people love the Control album. People love Rhythm Nation, the Janet album. Velvet Rope to me doesn't get enough recognition for whatever reason. Even the All For You album, like I know it was like going into like the millennium at that point, and Janet comes out with All For You, but that album was solid too. I'm saying, so
Right.
like for me, it's always been like, when you say yo, what's your favorite era of Janet? It's late 80s, going into the 90s, and then beginning of the 2000s with that album. So that to me is like how 5-album run.
Okay, that's pretty dope. I actually got Jenna on my list though too. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So stay tuned on my thoughts on that. So my number 10, I'm gonna go with Led Zeppelin. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Kicking it off with their first album, Led Zeppelin One, which you gotta realize that a lot of people don't know, but Jimmy Page, they had to like rush the album because originally they were known as the New Yardbirds, but Keith Moon of The Who said that the band is going to go down like a Led Zeppelin, and a Led Zeppelin was like a kind of like a plain jet like figure and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So they called themselves Led Zeppelin, and they pretty much had the first album with like some original material, but mostly was just cover of like blues and folk songs. I fucking love it. Like songs like "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You," "Good Times, Bad Times." But me personally, the strongest songs was really like the songs that they actually wrote themselves, like "Your Time's Gonna Come," which honestly I have a new appreciation for that song
Right.
and everything like that too. Like "Your time is gonna come," very catchy chorus,
Mhm.
communication breakdown. The, the closest Led Zeppelin kind of did to like a punk rock song, if you ask me. And my personal favorite song of that album, "How Many More Times," in my opinion, the song that really made Led Zeppelin. That was a perfect song to end the album to in my opinion. So that same year, they dropped Led Zeppelin 2. And they mostly did this while they were on tour promoting their first album. So the album definitely had a more raw, rugged sound and everything like that too. But the production was still unique. This might be, in my opinion, Jimmy Page's best guitar album and everything like that when it came to Led Zeppelin. Like songs like "Whole Lot of Love,"
Mhm.
which is a fucking classic. I mean, "Bring It On Home." I love that record. "Heartbreaker." Love that record. "Thank You." I mean, that's another dope album. A lot of like guitarists have even said that that was the album that they picked when they first wanted to play guitar and everything like that. Then 1 year later, they came out with Led Zeppelin 3. A lot of fans sometimes like to shit on this album and everything because they were talking about how they kind of went more folksy on this one. But this is the thing. This is the album that's with songs like "Immigration Song," "Celebration Day." In my opinion, the heaviest songs that they've ever came out with, in my personal opinion. Like "Immigration Song." I know you heard this song, Try, when Rob Hunt's like,
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
ah.
Yeah.
But niggas say that this album is soft, right? Now, granted, you do have his folksy songs like "Friends" and then "Tangerine," but then you even have the most bluesiest song they came out with, like "Since I've Been Loving You," which I don't love that song as much as other Led Zeppelin fans do, but I do admit it is a very complex song and everything. So I think over the years that album got more love though, but it's a very complex album when it comes to Led Zeppelin, which brings me to arguably their most popular album to many people,
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin. Many fans called it Led Zeppelin 4 and everything. This is the album that, in my opinion, plays like a greatest hits. Because let me tell you the first four songs: "Black Dog," "Rock and Roll," "The Battle of Evermore," and of course, "Stairway to Heaven." I mean, classic. Um, then we get into "Misty Mountain Hop." Um, that was a very happy dappy song and stuff like that too. Like, yeah, I definitely love that record. Ding ding ding. And then finally, the fifth album is probably my favorite Led Zeppelin album. But sometimes I go back and forth in recent years between this one and Led Zeppelin 4. And it's "Houses of the Holy." Very dope album and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? This is probably the most musically diverse album up to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like the Rain Song, beautiful record and everything like that too. Hot take. I might like that song a little bit more than "Stairway to Heaven," but you know what? You gotta listen to it. I love "Stairway to Heaven," but some motherfuckers be overdoing it sometimes and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I still love the song though. Song remains the same. I love that record. The Crunge. That was like them at their most James Brown. "Dancing Days." That was a song Bobby Brown sampled from My Prerogative. Not a lot of people know that though, but yeah, those first five, and I love Physical Graffiti. I love Presence was dope. I love that, but those first five Led Zeppelin albums. I mean, I could have easily did Led Zeppelin 2 to Physical Graffiti, but I needed to include a debut album. So yeah,
All right. Number nine. Before I go to number 9, Gmo says, did Stevie Wonder have 5 albums, like 5 classics?
Nigga, he had 10.
Yeah, 10 classic albums.
He,
Oh wow.
in my, Stevie Wonder's a superhero. He has hella classics.
Are you is he on your list or no?
Of course.
Okay.
Is
10.
he
You
on your
say
list?
10. Wow. I would say about 4, 5, maybe.
Oh wow.
Um, I don't. You say 10. I don't know. You got to let me know what the 10 is then. 'Cause I got like 3 for sure. You know.
Okay, I can let you know.
Number 9, I'm going with R. Kelly. Um, R. Kelly to me, say what you want about him. This man
Why
has
you hesitant to
classics.
say his name like that though?
I didn't know if I was gonna say, put him at number 9 though.
You got R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, Kells, this man changed R&B in the 90s. Coming out with the public announcement and then going solo. Even that Born into the 90s album was a classic album with that group. And then when he goes solo and he comes out with a 12 play, great album. So many hits off of that. Your Body's Calling and Sex Me and Seems Like You're Ready and you have the 95 self-titled album, great album. You Remind Me of My Jeep and Down Low and Salute Mark Nash. That was a great album. To me, I'm gonna say the double album, the R album to me was a classic double album. And I think when that album came out in what was that 97 that came out? And that was 98, 97?
98.
98. When that album came out, I feel like that we were like in the era of like certain artists putting out double albums, but they were great. You had when Pac came out with All Eyes on Me, that was a great double album. The next year, you had Life After Death and Wu-Tang Forever, and then R. Kelly drops in '98 with the R album, and it was a lot of great songs, a lot of. I still feel like that album should have been like more songs coming off of that album. Like he dropped when a woman's fed up and the Home Alone joint with Keith Murray. He had the Celine Dion song on there, Angel. The Did You Ever Think? The remix comes out with Nas. He also had Nas on another song on that album. But it was great. It was well produced. You had your collabs. Foxy Brown was on that album as well, and the joint he did with Nori, Cameron, Jay-Z's on that. And he still had like some unreleased songs. There was a remix for VIP with Jay that was never released. And I thought it was a great double album. It doesn't get mentioned a lot when in his catalog. And you have TP2. That was what 2000, I think. That was a great album. Huh?
Yep, 2000.
Yeah. That was a great album. You had the song I Wish, which originally was supposed to have Tupac on that, and he was planning a collab album with Tupac, and it never happened. But that song was great. The remix as well. You had songs like R&B Thug and I Don't Mean It. Great album. And then Chocolate Factory. A lot of people say is like his best album. I always feel like he has more than one classic, but Chocolate Factory was like a really good album. And what came from off? I forgot the singles that came off of that though. It's been a while, but Separate in the Name of Love, right? Was that the album he had with what's the joint? I'm a Flirt.
No, that was Double Up.
Okay. Oh, Double Up. Yeah. Yeah, Stepping in the Name of Love was probably like the biggest song on that album. But that to me was like his 5 album run. I mean, he's had other good albums after that too. but it wasn't. They didn't have like a consistent run after Charlie Factory. You know what I'm saying? It was like hit or miss. Double Up, I like some songs. I don't think it was a great album. And you had like the Untitled album. You had what else he put out? He had the two collab albums with Jay. Um, he had a lot of stuff after Charlie Factory, but it was hit or miss at that point. TP3 Reloaded was another one, and but I think like his 5 album run was from '93 to when was that, like 2000, 2002 that came out.
Yeah,
Yeah, so um I gotta put Kells on the list because Kells made a lot of classic R&B, and he changed that genre, you know.
I agree. All right. So my number 9, I gotta go with the Rolling Stones. Their 5 album run and stuff like that too. I'm gonna kick it off with 1968's Beggar's Banquet. Not really one of my favorites. This was the one that kicked off their so-called classic period. This one was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? This was known for songs like Street Fighting Man, Symphony for the Devil, No Expectations. But the next year, they came out with Let It Bleed, which, in my opinion, one of the greatest rock albums of all time. This was the last album, unfortunately, with Brian Jones, but then you also had Mick Taylor and everything, who pretty much picked up the slack and everything. This one definitely had a more heart of blues style. Like the song "Gimme Shelter," iconic song when it comes to the Rolling Stones and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? You can't always get what you want. Monkey Man, one of my favorite Rolling Stones songs ever. And then 1970, they came out with the live album "Get Your Yayas Out," the Rolling Stones in concert. Um, this was pretty much, of course, a live album that they did when they were promoting "Let It Bleed," but I still feel like it's still a noteworthy release. I love the live version of "Symphony for the Devil" here. Jumping Jack Flash, that was a dope one and stuff like that too. So I definitely feel like it's an essential release. Then 1 year later, they came out with "Sticky Fingers," which is another very iconic album right there and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Very stripped down sound, like songs like "Brown Sugar." Very controversial song too, but yeah. "Can't You Hear Me Knocking," probably my favorite song on the album and everything like that too. "Bitch," one of the most raw songs they've done. "Wild Horses," that might be, I think, to many people, their most popular song off the album. And then finally, you have "Exile on Main Street," in my opinion, their best album. You know what I'm saying? This was a recorded when they were kind of on the run from tax evasion and album. I love songs like "Happy," one of Keith Richards' best songs he's done. "Rocks Off," "Sweet Black Angel," "I Just Want to See His Face." Like this whole album, in my opinion, was like a love letter to like all the black influences and stuff like that too. So very, very, very dope 5 album run from the Stones.
All right, number 8, I got Rick Ross, and this his whole catalog is phenomenal. From him being in, from the South, from Florida, and I was not a Rick Ross fan when he first started. Like it took a minute. I do remember when he came out with Hustling, and that was like a huge record, and I want to say like by Deeper Than Rap is when that's at the time when he was beefing with 50, but at that time he was making better music than 50, and Port of Miami comes out in '06. Great debut album. He had the joints Push It and Hustling. He had Blow with Dre from Cool and Dre. Um, Great production. Then Triller drops in 2008, and he had Speedin'. He had Here I Am. Avery Smith, Avery Storm on that. He had The Boss with T-Pain. Um, he had Maybach Music with Jay. That was one of my favorite songs on there. Deeper Than Rap drops in 2009. At this point, he's beefing with 50, and this was like my introduction really to just like the first album I heard from Ross, and him dropping Mafia music and All I Really Want. He dropped Magnificent with John Legend, another Maybach music. He started like a whole Maybach music like series, and he had Maybach Music 2 on here with Kanye, Lil Wayne, and T-Pain, and he had Murder Mommy with Foxy Brown. Just a great third album. And then we get to 2010, which a lot of Ross fans will tell you, like Teflon Don is his best album. He had a lot of collaborations on this album. Raphael Sadiq, you had CeeLo, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Styles P on the first single, Blowing Money Fast, BMF. Aston Martin music, another big hit with Drake and Cosette Michelle. This to me is his best album, like from front to back. From the first track, I'm Not a Star, to the last song with Raphael Sadiq. All the Money in the World. Definitely a 5 Mic classic. And the production from Justice League and the Olympics and Lex Luger and Kanye even did a song on here, Live Fast, Die Young. And it was great. It was definitely a modern day classic. And then you get to God Forgives Our Don't, another underrated album from him. And he had the joint with Usher, Touching You. He had Diced Pineapples with Wale. The Pirate song, Pirates, Three Kings with Dr. Dre and Jay-Z was fire. Maybach Music 4 with Neo. 16 with Andre 3000. Just a phenomenal album. And this to me is his 5 album run. Even though like there's other albums after this, Mastermind was dope, and Hood Billionaire, Black Market, Rather You Than Me. Like his whole catalog to me, like even his mixtapes were great. You know what I'm saying? Like he's one of those rare artists, during the 2000s that had like a flawless catalog. It's not a lot. You know what I'm saying? And when I always mention T.I., like I say, like I love T.I. I think T.I. made his best music when he was either locked up or going to get locked up. And when he came out of prison, it wasn't the same. With Luda, I feel like Luda had like a 4 album run. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a fan of his stuff after Red Light District. But with Ross, like from coming from the South, I feel like he had the best discography over both of them. You know what I'm saying? And even now, like I know he's putting out a new album soon, and his last couple of albums wasn't like classic material, but they had bangers on there, But I feel like from Port of Miami in 2006 to 2012 when he drops God Forgives I Don't, that's his best run. And he really should be high on this list, but I have other artists on this list that because of who they are were much higher, but Rick Ross has a great catalog.
Dope. All right. Number 8 for me, I'm gonna have to go with Aretha Franklin. Um, yeah, I'm a lot of these artists I picked like out the rim and shit. I'm gonna be real with you.
Right.
Um, so when it comes to Aretha Franklin, I'm gonna start with 1970 with The Girls in Love with You. Very dope album. Definitely, she was doing some piano playing on that one and stuff like that. My favorite song on that album is "Call Me." You know what I'm saying? Which all my Slum Village fans, y'all should know by that record. Um, "Girls in Love with You," that was pretty good too. That same year, she also dropped "Spirit in the Dark." Another dope album. A lot of hip hop albums sampled from that album and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? I love the songs like "When the Battle's Over." The title track was pretty good. "Don't Play That Song" was another great one and shit like that too. And then We're gonna get into 1972 with arguably my favorite album from her, Young, Gifted, and Black. This one definitely was an influential album. This was known for songs like Daydreaming, Rocksteady. You know what I'm saying? Two of her most famous songs that she also wrote. And as the albums went on, you saw the progression of Aretha Franklin, like her taking more control over writing, production, and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? I love her cover of "Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time" by the Delphonics. That was pretty cool. And then 1973, she came out with the "Hey Now, Hey, the Other Side of the Sky" album, which I personally feel is a very underrated album. This one was fully produced by, well, produced by Quincy Jones and Aretha Franklin. And it's a Quincy Jones album you don't hear a lot of people talk about. Like, just think about Aretha Franklin and Quincy Jones together. That's something very unique and everything. And you got Aretha Franklin like doing some jazz and some mixed with some soul. Like, this is this album with Angel, which was arguably one of the most famous songs somewhere. But my favorite track is the last track, Just Right Tonight. Very like a jam session kind of track, very different from like a lot of Aretha Franklin songs. A lot of fans kind of shit on this album and stuff like that, which I don't understand why though. But I guess they were expecting like the soulful Aretha. But the next album, Let Me in Your Life, is kind of like a back to the basics album, and it was a more commercial improvement and everything like that too. This was a song with album with Until You Come Back to Me. That's what I'm gonna do, which was written by Stevie Wonder. Little story. That song was originally for Gladys Knight, but what happened was he actually gave it to Aretha Franklin because I think what happened was he heard her sing it and you just got mesmerized, and I think Gladys Knight kind of felt some kind of way about it and stuff like that too. But I think she eventually forgave Stevie Wonder because I guess who can say mad at Stevie? I guess I don't
Right.
know. Like even when come on, I mean like it's Aretha. Like I don't know, but that ended up being like one of her most biggest hits too. So
Right.
yeah, but then she also has songs like "I'm in Love," which that was written by Bobby Womack. That was actually a Bobby Womack song. Um, her cover of Donny Hathaway's "A Song for You" was very dope. Which actually, excuse me, that was originally by Leon Russell. Excuse me, but Donny Hathaway made it famous. Let's be real. Um, so yeah, like again, this was an artist I can easily pick different albums and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? But I thought let me try a different route and everything, you know.
Right.
And I'm just gonna be real with y'all. I really only have one hip hop, one rapper on this list. I'm gonna be
Wow.
real. Yeah,
Wow. So you're going a different route with with your list.
yeah, because I thought I was like, see, and I'm gonna see like with some rappers,
Mm.
they might have like a 5 album run, but I kind of base this on consistency and everything
Right.
like because which is why I almost wanted to include Nas on this because I really wanted to include Nas, but like I was talking to myself like even though I love Nas
Mm. Interesting.
Stradamus, yeah, but I really don't really have one rapper, and it
Oh
might
no.
surprise people, but hey, you said what?
Q asks, what is your favorite Led Zeppelin sample?
Very good question. There's not really been too many, but I'm gonna be generic and just say "Dancing Days" by for the my humping around. Excuse me, I said humping around. Yeah,
Bobby Brown?
from the Bobby album.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way how Bobby used that sample and everything. It took me years to really say, "Oh shit," he used a Led Zeppelin sample and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
it was kind of a bold sample because a lot of times people would like sample. And I don't want to sample snitch, but one of the more popular ones was what like the drum break to When the Levy Breaks and everything, which
Mm.
Beastie Boys used that, Dre used that, I believe, but Bobby definitely took a rarer not like a rare, but like a more unique Led Zeppelin sound, and he made it to like one of the most iconic songs in his whole career. So
Right. All right, number 7, I got Mary J. Blige.
Mm.
Mary, I love Mary. Mary is, if somebody asks me who's your favorite female R&B singer, it's Mary J. Blige. I saw her in '92 on her first major tour, Uptown MCA tour. Great, great tour. Her first album drops in '92. What's the 401? Phenomenal. You know, when you think of like hip hop soul, that was Mary. Like singing over hip hop beats and break beats and you know, reminisce and you remind me. She has what's the 401 title track with Grand Puba to end off that album. Classic. Changes I've been going through. My love. Phenomenal. Real love. Great. Find my classic. '94. We get My Life. A lot of her fans say that's her best album. I think it's her best album. You know, the production was better. You had a lot of great ballads on that album. The singles, Be Happy and You Bring Me Joy. I'm Going Down, which was a rendition. The title track was great. Another rendition. Um, Mary Jane joint. Like, I love that album. Find my classic. '96, we get Share My World, another great album. You know, you had production. R. Kelly did some production on that, and Bryce Wilson from Groove Theory, and great album. The joint she did with Little Kim, I Can Love You, classic. You know, and it's on with R. Kelly, another classic song, Round and Round. So many great songs off of that third album, right? Then we get to '98. She drops the Mary album. Love that album. Love Is All We Need with Nas, first single, classic. You know, what else came from that album? But the joint, the joint with Lauren Hill, right? All that I can send out from that album too.
All
Am I
that I
mistaken?
can say, yes.
Yes, that joint. I think that was the first single. My bad. I think that was the first single, if I'm not mistaken. Um, what else was on that album? The 7 days, not 7 days. Was it 7 days on that joint?
You mean on Share My World or the
Sure.
Mary album?
The Mary album.
Yeah, 7 days was on Mary. Yeah.
7 days, yeah. 7 days with George Benson. Was on that joint. Love that. That's probably my favorite song on that album. But that whole
Okay.
album was phenomenal. Love that album. Very underrated. And then you get to No More Drama, and that comes out in you know Family Affair. That was 2001 Family Affair. Dr. Dre produced that. Classic beat. Love that song. You got the title track No More Drama. Rainy Days was a big hit off of that. Dance with Me. You know, the Steal Away joint with Malice and Pharrell was fire. Love that joint. Where I've Been featuring Eve. That was like her first song that she did with Eve. Was dope. Just a great album. And after that, it's hit or miss for me. Like for me, I think Love and Life was dope. A lot of people are like on the fence with that album. Um, it was hit or miss. I love the Breakthrough. Really great album. Probably like her best album of after No More Drama, but that's like her best album. But it was hit or miss. It's like she had some joints. The London sessions was cool, but it was I believe Sam Smith had like co-wrote a lot of those songs for her. Strong with Every Tear. It had some joints. It wasn't a great album. Growing Pains. It was okay. It wasn't a great album. She had some hits and misses, but her 5 album stretch is from '92 to 2001. I think that's when she made like her best music and solidified herself as a legend.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
All right. My number, we got number 7. I gotta go with Sade. All right.
Yeah,
So
Sade.
let
I
me
forgot
kick
about
it
Sade.
off with the legendary Diamond Life album and stuff like that. one of my all-time favorite R&B albums of that time. I think next to Purple Rain, that might be the best R&B album of '84, in my
Mm,
personal opinion. But the thing with this album, I always felt like this was like a pioneering album when it came to like neo soul. Because if you really think about it, not a lot of people were doing R&B like this back in '84. And yeah, you can call it sophista pop too, but listen to songs like Smooth Operator, Your Love Is King. They definitely sound like it could have been done like in the mid to late '90s and stuff like that too. Like the instrumentation of Why Can't We Live Together, which I know that's a cover to Timmy Thomas song, was definitely unique. I love Frankie's First Affair too, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I first got this album when I was in college, I was listening to this album a lot and I was just saying to myself, like, this definitely stood the test of time over the years. And then 1 year later she came out with Promise, which probably is my favorite album from her, to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? This one she definitely still carried on the same traditions as Diamond Light, but a lot of the songs was like more cinematic, you know, everything like Is It a Crime?
mhm.
It's definitely a classic, classic, classic song right there, you know what I'm saying? Jezebel, you know what I'm saying? Definitely connecting the spiritual side and everything, you know what I'm saying? My only gripe, and I have the vinyl version of this album, they take away my favorite song, Punch Drunk. I was so pissed off. So I need to get the CD version of this album one day, just
Yeah.
for that song and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? But 2 years later, she came out with Stronger Than Pride. This was actually the first album where it was self-produced by the band and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm talking about Sade, I'm also talking about the band and everything, not
Right.
just the singer. Even though the band is named after the singer, so I'm highlighting Stuart Matthewman, Andrew Hale, Paul S. Denman, and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying?
They were Sweetback.
Thank you.
Great, great, underrated album that they dropped.
I need to get my hands on that album too. I need
Yeah.
to. But back to Stronger Than Pride. Yeah, with this one right here, they definitely went a more groove based sound with this one. Songs like Paradise, which is one of the most famous songs in the discography, and then you have Nothing Can Come Between Us, like beautiful sunset R&B sound and
Mhm.
everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? That's a term I just recently came out with, sunset R&B, because I was talking with my homeboys and stuff like that. And I was like, there's certain albums I just say you can only play in only use a sunset.
Right.
It's like one of those sunset R&B kind of albums and shit. Watch somebody make a whole reel of that shit and stuff. Watch. Um, Haunt Me. I love that one. Turn My Back on You. Dun 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 dun. Oh, I love that record and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? And then one, two, three. We're gonna get into Love Deluxe from 1992. Now, a lot of people say that this is probably like her best album and everything like that too. I do love this album though, but I'm still more of like a Paradise guy. This one is definitely like more lush, more ambient and everything like that too. Again, this album sounds like at least 15 years ahead of its time. Like this is just some shit like you would see Janae Aiko do or
Yeah.
SZA do and everything like that too. Like Kiss of Life. All of my MF Doom fans, y'all should definitely know about that song. Rest in peace to Doom. No Ordinary Love, arguably one of the most famous songs. I couldn't love you more. Way to describe this album. Way to describe this album. Picture yourself in like an underwater utopia.
Right.
That's the best way to describe this album. Like
Mhm.
honestly, if I had the power, this album would have been the soundtrack to that Disney version of The Little Mermaid.
Mm. Right.
If you, I don't know what it is. It's just it just gives me underwater vibes when I listen to this album and everything.
Right.
Um, and maybe I'm just saying that because my throat's dry and I'm thirsty, but I'm just
She remember she played a mermaid in the video for
yeah.
what's the joint? No Other Name Love.
Yep, she did.
Yeah. And then she gets married. So
Right. That's pretty much the Little Mermaid.
That's Little Mermaid, right? So it was like the Little Mermaid come to life in the video.
That's crazy.
You know,
And then finally, we're gonna get into Lovers Rock. Now, this one is definitely, I don't want to say it's like a back to basics album because I feel like she was still elevating her sound. She definitely had a more reggae feel to this one and everything like that too, which very unique and a very unique album. Like By Your Side is very beautiful. I love King of Sorrow and everything like that too. The title track was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like this is an album that not a lot of fans talk about, but believe it or not, this album actually got her a Grammy for best pop vocal album
right.
and everything like that too. So this album definitely has a strong fan base. And even though even though it's a 5 hour more, I still have to give a slight nod to Soldier of Love, which I need to get that album. I need to get that fucking record and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? That's a dope. That was a dope album back in 2010. Like the title track, Moon and Awe. But those first 5 Sade albums, classics.
Yes. All right, I gotta make a correction. Okay, for the Mary album, for Share My World, it was Love Is All We Need with Nas. That was the first single. I Can Love You with Little Kim. You had 7 Days. George Benson was on that one, and she put out Everything. And for the Mary album, it was Love Is All That I Can Say, produced by Lauryn Hill, and she had Deep Inside. She sampled the Elton John record, Benny and the Jets, and she had Jadakiss on Sexy. So my bad, I got the singles mixed up on both albums.
You good, fam?
You know what I mean? I only have 2 groups on here, and number 6 got to be EPMD. Definitely went on a 5 album run, 5 classic albums at that. Strictly Business, that comes out in a phenomenal album from '88, and you had joints like It's My Thing, and you got to Chill, and I'm Housing. You got the title track, you know, great production, and the sophomore album, Unfinished Business, that drops in '89, and you got one of my favorite all-time EPMD records, So What You're Saying, classic record, The Big Payback. You know, you had Too Much to Drink. You had the Jane series. They have Jane Part 2 on this one.
Right.
Knick Knack Paddywhack with K Solo, classic. You know, then we get to the 1990, Business as Usual. One of my favorite records, Rampage with LL Cool J. Yes. One of his best features. You got Gold Digger, the original Gold Digger, not the Kanye West one, the original Gold Digger. You got Hardcore, Redman is on that. He makes his first appearance. Give the People, Rappers Out of Control, Brothers on My Jock, 5 Mic Classic. Then we get to 92, which is my favorite EPMD album, Business Never Personal. And you got the first single, Crossover, 5 Mic Classic. You know, you got Headbanger, Posse Joint with K Solo and Redman. Das EFX is in the video with them. You got Coming At You with Das EFX. Love that collab. It's Going Down. That was also on the Juice soundtrack. Can't Hear Nothing But the Music. That whole album, huh?
That is It's Going Down.
Yeah, that whole album is 5 Mic. So one of the best albums of '92. And then, you know, after that, the Hit Squad breaks up. Eric Sermon goes solo. PMD goes solo. They dropped a couple of albums, and then they reunite as EPMD for Back in Business in '97, and they drop Never Seen Before was the first single in The Joint. You got Richter Scale. What else you got? You got the Intrigued with Das EFX. You got the Chill. You got the Chill '97. You got KIM with Keith Murray and Redman. But that, to me, even the remix for Never Seen Before was like the bonus track on the album. But that, to me, is like their 5 album run. You know, after that, Out of Business was okay, had some joints. It wasn't a great album to me. You know, that was more like the limited edition for that album, like when they were selling it, it was like a bonus CD with like their greatest hits. And then you had We Mean Business in 2008. I liked a couple songs. They had a joint with a Raekwon on here that was fire. They put out the single "Listen Up" with Teddy Riley. They had some joints. It wasn't like a great EPMD album, but they easily have a five mic. I keep saying five mic. They easily have a 5 album stretch from '88 to '97. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like their best albums. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they'll ever get on a run like that again anyway. So I think that's
Right.
like their best music. So any one of those albums, like Strictly Business, um, the sophomore album, Unfinished Business, and Business as Usual, Business of Personal, Back in Business, all classics to me.
Okay. All right. My number 6, I gotta go with Kendrick Lamar. And yeah, it's the only rapper I got on my list, believe it or not.
Okay.
I'm gonna kick it off with a Good Kid, Mad City from 2012. Now I remember when this album came out when I was in high school, and hip hop really, the hip hop blogs, everybody was just really paying attention to this fucking project. It was that highly anticipated, and the hype didn't live down because we all know the impact of this album and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Money Trees, Art of Peer Pressure, Mad City. This was just a banging album and everything. It was something hip hop has not seen. Like just that sonic energy. Like it was kind of unheard of at that time and everything. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to get into 2015 with Pimp a Butterfly. Probably my favorite Kendrick Lamar album to date. You know what I'm saying? This one we know was talking about like a lot of issues when it came to like African American culture and everything. Probably his most political album to date, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? This is pretty much like when, based on like when he traveled to like Africa and saw like the cell where Nelson Mandela was being held at and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Like just for songs like Hood Politics, Black and Berry, These Walls, all fucking dope classic albums and everything. And then we're gonna go into 2017 with Damn. This was another like conscious album right here, but this one he kind of went back towards like his Kung Fu Kenny days and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like more like a this album kind of plays more like a mixtape in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? Which I fucking love. You have songs like Blood, Loyalty was dope, Pride, Humble. That was a big song back at that time and everything. And then we're gonna get into like Mr. Morale, The Big Steppers, which is another dope album. A lot of fans sometimes say that this one, was a bit too somber and everything like that too. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It still, has some dope songs. Like I love Die Hard. I love We Cried Together. That was dope. Silent Hill was cool. Purple Hearts was dope too. And then finally, we're gonna go into GNX, which is his recent album and everything, which I feel like it's another banging album.
Yeah.
Fresh off the beef he had with Drake and everything, he just kept it moving and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have songs like Luther, which is a big song even to this day. TV Off, Heart Part Six was dope. Pickaboo. So yeah, fire, fire, fire shit.
All right. You got Kendrick, and at number 5, I got Ice Cube. In 1990, when he goes solo, and he dropped the EP, and he dropped America's Most Wanted. The EP, Killer Will, and you had Jackin' for Beats for New York radio was the first Ice Cube song that they ever played on the radio over here. And then we saw the video on like Video Music Box and MTV Raps, Rap City. That was the first time that New York radio played any Ice Cube song. And he's freestyling over like different beats, Humpty Dance and all that. And so what you're saying, classic, right? And you got Endangered Species, the Tales from the Dark Side remix with Chuck D. produced by Sir Jinx. That was fire. You got the product and Dead Homies, and that was a nice 7 song EP. You know, and he drops America's Most Wanted with the Bomb Squad, and you know, a classic album. Then you
Mhm.
got joints like Better Off Dead and The Nigga You Love to Hate. You know, What They Hitting For, The Gangster's Fairy Tale. That's a classic all around album from Cube. And then you get to Death Certificate in '91, which is like my introduction to Cube as a solo artist. You know what I'm saying? And you had joints like True to the Game and Steady Mob. Steady Mobbing is one of my favorite Ice Cube songs. I just think like lyrically he was just in his pocket on that one. And you got Alive on Arrival and Bird in the Hand was fire. And I loved it. I love the intro as well for it and the interludes and a classic album. The Predator drops in '92. Another one of my favorite Ice Cube albums, and he dropped a Wicked. It was a good day. Everybody knows that record. You know what I'm saying? Check Yourself, the remix with Das Effects, done by DJ Muggs, classic. You know,
Mhm.
the whole album is fire, man. Like the title track, I love that joint. Now got a wet produced by Muggs. The production on here from Muggs and DJ Pooh and Sir Jinx was just classic, just an all around classic album. And then you got '93. He comes out with Lethal Injection, and the big hit off of this album was Bop Gun. George Clinton. That song was on the radio. Was the video was everywhere. You got How We Do It, one of my favorite Ice Cube songs, and I love the remix for that as well. Really dope. You got Ghetto Bird was fire, Cave Bitch. So that to me is Ice Cube's run from Kill It Will to Lethal Injection. From 1990 to '93. After that, War and Peace. I like the War disc more than the Peace one, but that wasn't a great album. And he had Laugh Now Cry Later and Raw Footage. But I think his 5 album run started with Kill It Will up until Lethal Injection.
Okay. Dope, dope. All right. My number 5, I gotta go with Prince. Now I could have easily picked a lot of 5 album runs, but I'm gonna start it off with 1999. This came out in 1982, of course. This to many people might be considered his breakthrough album and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we all know the classic title track. We all know about Delirious. We know about DMSR, which I love that record and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? So then we're gonna jump 2 years later. He made this album called Purple Rain, which is a
Right.
soundtrack to his semi-autobiographical movie. Very, very, very dope. This was known for songs like "Take Me with You," "Darling Nikki," "When Doves Cry," and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the movie, we all know about the movie. And then in 1985, he came out with a surprise album called "Around the World in a Day"
Mhm.
and everything, which that came out literally when Purple Rain was still popular and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? That was like a more like neo psychedelic album, known for songs like Paisley Park, Raspberry Parade, Pop Life, yada yada. And then we're gonna go into Parade that came out in 1986. This one, in my opinion, is a very, very, very dope album. This was another soundtrack to his movie at the time called Under the Cherry Moon.
Yeah.
Songs like Kiss, Girls and Boys, Mount, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And then finally, we got the masterpiece, Sign of the Times. Probably my favorite Prince album he's ever came out with. You know what I'm saying? This definitely was a more diverse album. Songs like Ballad of Dorothy Parker. You got The Look, If I Was Your Girlfriend, Adore. we all know that this was supposed to be a triple disc album, but Warner Brothers just said we're just gonna let you do a double disc, and he took all the best songs from that triple disc and made it to this album. So yeah, man, this album right here is probably one of his most iconic and everything. So yeah,
All right. See, I almost had Prince on the list. I almost had it, but I don't like around the world in the day. I didn't. I like some songs. I don't think it was a great album though, and they rushed that album out because Purple Rain did so well.
well, technically they didn't really rush it. They actually recorded it while like before 1999, believe it or not, like after
Right.
1999, before Purple Rain.
And he
But
did that often, but it came out like it came out at the time when Purple Rain was still huge for him.
right,
You know, so I think like maybe some fans. I know I wasn't ready for that album. I'm like I'm still bumping Purple Rain as a kid, and he comes out with this album. I'm like, what is this? You know what I'm
what do you
saying? Like Raspberry Beret is like my favorite song from that album. That and Pop Life. I don't care for the other songs on the album. It could have been like a 2-track album for me.
I
You know what I'm
feel?
saying? I love the album cover. The album cover, the illustration is great. But I feel like one of Brothers put that out there because of the success off of Purple Rain. Whereas like with Michael, like you see when Thriller dropped in '82, Michael took his time with that, and he was also on that Victory tour that he didn't want to be on. That really
Right.
should have been a Thriller tour, but he waited to drop. Bad don't come out till like '87. You know what I'm saying? So that's more than enough time between Thriller and Bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as with Prince, is like they just pushed out that Around the World in a Day album. I'm like, I didn't care for it. Like I still don't care for it, and I have it, but it's not one of my favorites. So that would be like the only album within that five album stretch. I'd be like, yo, like I can't put that in there. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes on to do Sign of the Times, which is a better album than that.
I
You know what I
feel
mean?
you.
My number four is Outkast. It's one of the very few groups that it's only Outkast and EPMD that made my list. When it comes to five album stretches, Outkast is a great five album stretch with Southern Playlistic drops in '94, and they give us Players Ball, which was on the LaFace Christmas compilation. Great song, and the title track was fire. Crumbling Herb, one of my favorite tracks, and Funky Ride, Ain't No Thing. That whole first album from Outkast is severely slept on. I've seen people that when they talk about Outkast, they skip the first album and they go straight to AT Aliens and Aquemini. And I think their first album was highly underrated. Great debut album from Outkast. AT Aliens is my favorite in '96 when New York radio was actually, playing them on their set list. And they gave us, Elevators was the first single, and the title track AT Aliens was fire. Two Dope Boys in a Cadillac, one of my favorite tracks on that album. Waylon, Growing Old, classic album. Criminal drops in '98, another classic. We get Rosa Parks from that, and Skewed on the Barbie with Raekwon, and Spotty Yachty, Dopalicious, great instrumental track. I love that that song and the art of storytelling. Love the remix with Slick Rick. Liberation, great album. Then we get Stankonia. I actually went to the Stankonia tour when they came to the Madison Square Garden. It was a great tour. They had the whole Dungeon family with them, all the members. And when I remember like hearing that album I heard that album online first. Like this is like Napster era. So I still had Napster at that point and listened to that album and not liking it. Like liking a couple songs, but I didn't really know where they were going with the direction of this album. And like seeing them in person and seeing them perform the songs in person, like Red Velvet was one of my favorites, and Explosive would Be Real from Cypress Hill was another great song, and So Fresh So Clean, Miss Jackson that won so many Grammys, and Bombs Over Baghdad. That's a Five Mike album, Five Mike classic. Definitely enjoyed it. Then you got the double album that I say is by LaFace Records, marketed as a double album, but it was a double album with two members of the group putting out their debut solo albums together. That's how it was marketed. It was a double album, but both albums are both Big Boy and Andre 3000 solo albums together. Speaker Box, Love Below. I've always been more of a Love Below fan. Speaker Box was dope. I do feel like for Big Boy, that's not his best album though. His best album to me was Lucius Left Foot. I think that's his best solo album. But Speaker Box had some joints. You had Andre also producing some joints on there. I think he did like 3 tracks on there. You know, The Way You Move was like the biggest record off of that for Big Boy's album. And for Love Below, production all done by Andre 3000, and he had joints like Prototype and Hey Ya was like on TRL every day. You know, you have Roses, Dracula's Wedding, one of my favorite songs on the album with Khalees. I think it's a five my classic. You know what I'm saying, but there's the brilliance of LaFace to market that album as it's an Outcast project, but it's not an Outcast album.
Right.
But that's the only time ever in history that you could say where you have both members from a group bring out their debut solo albums together. Nobody's ever did that. Prodigy and Havoc never did that. Dog Pound never did that. You know what I'm saying? Smith and Wesson never did that. Like that's the only time in history where two members from a group come out with their first solo albums together. That's how it was marketed by LaFace, which is why you still have the same debate now. Is it a Outcast album or is it not? It's not an Outcast album. They only did one feature on the album. It's not an Outcast album.
Right.
An Outcast album would be a Aquemini or AT Aliens or Stankonia. That's a true Outcast album. One feature on a solo album, not an Outcast album. You know what I'm saying? And then you have Idlewild came out. I didn't like. I like some songs off of the soundtrack. I don't think it was a great soundtrack though.
Yeah, Idlewild. Yeah, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So now we're gonna get into I'm at number 3.
You did your number 4 already?
Number 4, excuse me.
Number 4.
I gotta go with Queen.
Okay.
Rock group. We're gonna go to Sheer Heart Attack. This came out in 1974. Yeah, this to me was like their true classic album, their first true classic. This definitely has like a more poppier sound compared to like their first two progressive albums. This was known for something like Killer Queen, Stone Cold Crazy, Now I'm Here, and stuff like that too. Brighton Rock, and then we're gonna jump into A Day and a Night at the Opera, classic album. This is the one with Bohemian Rhapsody, which that's a whole song by its video by itself and everything. Love of My Life, You're My Best Friend. I love that record. Ooh, You Make Me Live, classic song. You know what I'm saying? Then 1 year later, they came out with A Day at the Races, which that was another pretty dope album.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A more rock heavy album, stuff like that too. You know, Good Old Fashioned Boy, You and I, You Take My Breath Away, and everything like that too. And then we're gonna go into News of the World. Next to Night at the Opera, there's probably next to Night at the Opera and the game, that's probably my favorite album from Queen and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? This one they definitely went a more darker approach, a more harder approach. I love songs like Get Down, Make Love. You know what I'm saying? Of course we all know the We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions. My only gripe with this album, I feel like We Are the Champions should have ended the album.
I
It
agree.
started off with We Will Rock You,
I agree.
ended off with We Are the Champions. Because I like my Melancholy Blues, but I feel like this. I don't know. I just feel like I would have done Get Down, Make Love, then We Are the Champions as the last two because it just had that cinematic feel to it. But album is still dope itself. And then finally, we get to very. for songs like Fat Bottom Girls, Jealousy, Fun It, you know what I'm saying? Don't Stop Me Now, and everything like that too. I feel like this is definitely one of the more weirder albums, but
Right.
I've came to appreciate it in its own right over the years and stuff. So yeah, definitely a very dope.
All right. Number three, I got the one and only king of all kings, Michael Jackson. He easily
He's
could
my
be number one,
he's my number
but I
three
got
too.
he's number three for you too.
Yeah.
Wow. We didn't plan it like that. That's just crazy. Um, Michael solo wise, he drops 4 albums before the 5 album run begins. So I didn't mention the four albums. Got to Be There and Ben, Forever Michael, all that music and me. Those are dope. The 5 album stretch begins with Off the Wall in '79, and that was like the end of a disco era. And I felt like that was like a goodbye to disco with that album. When he comes out with Rock with You and Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Working Day and Night, title track, She's Out of My Life, I Can't Help It. So many songs off of this album alone were sampled for other big hit records. You know what I'm saying? And this is before he linked up with Quincy. That comes out. And then the album of all albums, Thriller, 1982, him and Quincy, 9 songs, all of them classic. Beat It was my introduction to Michael, seeing that video world premiere, back in the day, and Billie Jean, and of course Thriller. He does the mini movie for that, and that was a thing. The Girl Is Mine with Paul McCartney. The Girl Is Mine. I feel like that song gets shitted on, and I don't know why, because I felt like Michael collaborated with Paul McCartney on more than one occasion, and to me, every collab was fire that they did. They could have did a whole album together. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that gets shitted on. You got Human Nature, PYT, classic, best album of all time to me in any genre. Then we get to '87 when he drops Bad, him and Quincy, phenomenal album, and he gives us the title track. Had the little movie with Wesley Snipes in it. He wanted Prince to be a part of that. He didn't want to be a part of it. We have Smooth Criminal. You got a Liberian Girl and Man in the Mirror, one of his best songs ever. Classic album. He gives us Moonwalker, home video, mini movie, and does other videos for the other tracks on the album, like Leave Me Alone and Speed Demon. Classic album. That was the end of him and Quincy. That was it. Dangerous comes along in '91. He hooks up with Teddy Riley. Teddy Riley gives him that New Jack swing sound for Remember the Time. You have Black or White, Jam, Michael Jordan and Chris Cross, Heavy D in the video. Heavy D's on the track as well. In the Closet, Can't Let Her Get Away. I love that album. Classic album, severely slept on. And then you got '95 after the drama with the child allegations and everything. This was like his album to get back at the critics and all the tabloids, and he was very angry on this album. Very angry. Um, Myself, Red, Ashley did a review on this album, this double album many years ago. Check that out. And this was like a double album where disc one was the greatest hits, and disc two is like the brand new songs. He gives us the first single with Janet Jackson, Scream, a long awaited collaboration with him and Janet, who's the only other Jackson member, in my opinion, in that family that's on the same level as Michael. It's not Jermaine. It damn sure ain't Jackie and the rest of the Jacksons. She's the only other person that's of royalty on as far as solo artists in that family. And that was a long awaited collaboration that the fans wanted. I wish they had went on tour. And he gives us that. Stranger in Moscow. Love that ballad. They Don't Care About Us. Love that song. Spike Lee, the Spike Lee video in Brazil, classic video. You have Notorious B.I.G. on forgot the name of that song that he did. Uh, forgot the name of that joint. This time around. That time around, you had Earth Song was a big record. The title track, History with Boys to Men on the background vocals was a great theme for the album because at this time like the promotion they had like they made like a statue of Michael and they had it like over in London. It was like on a boat. And You Are Not Alone, another big record from this album, produced by R. Kelly, written by R. Kelly. You had his wife at that time, Lisa Marie Presley, in the video with them. But he had some big records on this album. There are some songs on the album that I didn't care for, like the Too Bad record with Shaq. I didn't like that. I don't, I don't feel like that should have been on the record. The Tabloid Junkie and he was, even the Dob Snyder song where he's going at the prosecutor from the case or whatever. But he was really heavy on this album. But even with that, he still had some big records on it. Like Scream and You Are Not Alone is like the two biggest records from this double album. He had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis also a part of this album, and he had some big records. The Smile song was a big record as well, but this to me is like his 5-album run as a solo artist. You know what I'm saying? After this, we get Invincible in what was that, like 2000, 2001. I like some songs from Invincible. I don't think it was a great album. I think for that album, he should have switched up the production and maybe you get Timbaland on some records and the Neptunes. Ronnie Jerkins had some joints. It just wasn't. I wouldn't have had just Ronnie do the whole album. You know what I'm saying? But Michael is why he's Michael. He is the GOAT of all time. And he was already the GOAT before he went solo, but he solidified himself with these solo albums.
Definitely. Yeah, you pretty much took the words out of my mouth and everything. Yeah, because he's my number 3 as well too. Yeah, Off the Wall, definitely a landmark disco album, in my personal opinion, and everything. And then of course we're gonna get into Thriller, which that album broke all the rules when it came to like breaking down the barriers, not only between like bridging the gap between pop and R&B and rock, but at the same time breaking down the racial barriers and how one can enjoy pop music as well too. And then we're gonna get into Bad, which was the final album he did with Quincy Jones, but definitely shows his evolution, his independent songs like Speed Demon, Smooth Criminal, definitely fire. And then of course Dangerous and everything from the New Jack Swing era with primarily produced by Teddy Riley. Vocally, I definitely felt like he was definitely at his prime at that time. Remember the Time Jam, Why You Want to Trip on Me, all classics, and then finally the His Story album, like his most angriest album. I always say that's a classic record. You know what I'm saying? Like songs like Scream, They Don't Care About Us. They weren't ready for that, Michael. That's all I'm gonna say.
Facts. All right. Number 2, I got Kanye West. Kanye West, one of the best artists we've had in the last 25 years from Chicago. He started out as a producer and with the crazy thing is his own label, Rockefeller, did not believe in him as an MC. They wanted him just to be a producer, and he gave us tracks on Beanie Siegel's first album, The Truth, and on the Blueprint. If it wasn't for Kanye, I don't think the Blueprint would have been a classic album. Like he had like some of the best beats on it, and he had the accident, broke his jaw, the car accident, broke his jaw, gave us Through the Wire. And before the album even drops, like he's working on this album, College Dropout, for years before it drops in 2003, in 2004, and before that drops, he's giving us mixtapes like Get Well Soon, I'm Good. And this is at the time when he's he went through the car accident. His jaw's wired, but he's still giving us mixtapes. The Heavy Hitters mixtape, DJ Enough. I heard all of that, and that was before the album dropped. He was giving his heat off of those mixtapes, right? Then February 10th comes around, '04. College Dropout comes out, and we get might be the best album. That's debatable. It might be the best album of that year. I know 50 Cent came out as well. Those two albums were like the best. Um, when you have joints like Slow Jams with Jamie Foxx and Twista, phenomenal song. All Falls Down. The original joint had Lauryn Hill. For whatever reason, her version didn't make the album. We got Selena Johnson on the chorus instead. Selena Johnson, very underrated singer. I love that version as well. Jesus Walks, very controversial song. You know, he got some Grammys for that record. Great song. You had Through the Wire, New Workout Plan. I loved it. My classic. And then we get to Late Registration, 2005, and he gives us, Diamonds from Sierra Leone. You have Gold Digger with Jamie Foxx, huge hit when that came out. Heard Him Say, one of my favorites with Adam Levine from Maroon 5. Love that record. Touch the Sky, classic. Drive Slow, another classic record. You know, it was definitely this is one of those albums again where I felt like at the time when it came out, it was okay, but like it definitely through the years it definitely has longevity. We had a lot of collabs on this album. Common is on here, and Nas and Lupe Fiasco, Jamie Foxx, Brandy, The Game, but definitely a great sophomore album. Graduation 2007, one of my favorite Kanye West albums, and every track on this album was huge. From the first track, Good Morning, love that record. You got Stronger, which was a huge hit on this album. Can't Tell Me Nothing with Jeezy, Flashing Lights with Dwale, love that record. Good Life with T Pain. Every track on here was fire. Every track on here, like I remember having a bootleg for this before the album came out, and in hearing it, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be album of the year right here. You know, Big Brother was fire. You know what I'm saying? Barry Bonds with Weezy. When Weezy was in his bag, like Carter 3 Weezy. This was like some of the best Weezy features ever. You know what I'm saying? Five My Classic. After that, unfortunately, Kanye's mom dies, Donda. What the fourth album was originally was going to be Good Ass Job. We didn't get that. We got 808s and Heartbreak, a very different sounding album. I feel like even the sound of this album now influenced a lot of artists later on, like a Kid Cudi. You know what I'm saying? You got joints like Love Lockdown was the first single. That was huge when that came out. Heartless, definitely enjoyed that record. Amazing with Jeezy. Another Jeezy collab that I fuck with, and I don't like Jeezy, but the two Kanye's collabs he did with Can't Tell Me Nothing and Amazing were classic. Paranoid was fire. The whole album, Cold as Winter. I love that joint. RoboCop, love that song. The whole album was fire. Definitely a Fire My classic. And then we get to his last classic album, 2010, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and this was the last time that I actually listened to radio. Like I haven't listened to the radio station since this album, because he had a every Friday, what they call Good Friday. He would come on the radio station on Hot 97, and he would give us a new song that he had finished. A lot of those songs didn't make the album. Like he had a lot of unreleased songs. He had a song called "See Me" with "See Me Now" with Beyonce and Charlie Wilson from the Gap Band that didn't make the album. He had a Raekwon song that didn't make the album. He had a song with Justin Bieber that didn't make the album. Take One for the Team, that was with Pusha T and Kerry Hilson. That didn't make the album. There's a whole Good Friday mixtape with like unreleased joints that didn't make this album. And I felt like if he did like a sequel to that, it would have been just a classic. But we got his last great album with Power was the first single. Runaway, he had like a mini film for Runaway. I love the VMA performance he did with Pusha T. You had Monster with Jay and Nicki and all of the lights. There's like 13 different artists on that record. Bono, Rihanna, Neo. There's so many artists on that record. In like the background vocals and that it was just a great, well produced album. You had Dark Fantasy produced by the RZA that starts the album off, which was a great start off track. No IDs on here. It was just this was Kanye still sane, still in his prime, and he just gave us a great album. So Appalled with Jay-Z and Swiss Beats, Pusha T, Sahar the Prince and RZA, great song. Devil in a New Dress, one of my favorite Rick Ross features. He killed it. Just a 5 mic classic. That is his last classic album. Okay, after that, you know how it is. It's hit or miss. I like Jesus because it was a different sounding album. A lot of his fans don't care for it. And Life of Pablo was good. Definitely enjoyed Life of Pablo. The problem with a lot of these albums later on, like Pablo, he was still mixing the album the day of the album release. So that's why you have different versions of like Pablo out there, because he was still mastering the album the day of the album release, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? When you get to like the Ye album, and the Ye album is like that year where 2018, where he was like he went to Wyoming, he was doing 5 albums, the Not That Trash Nasir album. He did Tiana Taylor's album, which I thought was better than Nasir's album. He did Daytona for Pusha T, classic Pusha T album, and he did Kid See Ghosts with Kid Cudi, great collab album. And he did his own album though. I say the Wyoming album. It's called Ye on Wikipedia, but it wasn't a great album. And everything else after that was just crap. Jesus is King, the Donda albums. He dropped Bully this year. That's why I say Bully to me is his best album since Life of Pablo. Like you can easily, it's more consistent. It has better production. He had some big names on the album as well, but it's way better than both the Donda albums and Jesus is King and the Wyoming album. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he's found himself again. I don't know if it's gonna be consistent. At least for now, for this year, we could say Kanye West actually dropped a good album this year, and that I actually liked. And I haven't said that since Life of Pablo, which was 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But as far as his run is from 2004 to 2010. That is his best 5 albums in his whole catalog. We will never get another 5 album run from Kanye like this ever again. That like at that time, it was a different Kanye. This Kanye now that we getting is, I don't know. It's erratic. It's bipolar. We're never gonna get this type of consistency ever from Kanye West. But for those 5 albums, again, like he solidified himself as a future Hall of Famer, and he should be commended for that.
Definitely. All right. My number 2, I got to go with Janet Jackson. These 5 albums right here are just so close in quality. Any of these albums could have been a favorite album from this artist. So when they kick it off with Control and everything like that too, like tracks like What Have You Done For Me Lately, The Pleasure Principle, Let's Wait a While. Love those songs. Funny How Time Flies. Classic records. And then we're gonna go, into the Rhythm Nation 1814 album. You know what I'm saying? Very dope album. This was like her most political album. Songs like State of the World, Living in a World That Didn't Make, Love Will Never Do. Excuse me. All right. All dope albums and everything. And then 1993, she signed and released the Janet album and everything. Janet period. Very dope, very, very, very dope album. This one was definitely more funky and more industrial. Songs like That's the Way Love Goes, Throb, What I'll Do, Anytime, Any Place, and everything. And in 1997, we're going to jump into the Velvet Rope, which is probably like her most personal album to date, if you ask me, and everything like that too. What I'm saying? All dope records and everything like that too. Definitely had like a more organic sound. Yeah, very, very dope. And then finally, we get into All For You, which is like a more happier album compared to um, the Velvet Rope. You know what I'm saying? The title track is dope. I love that one. Would You Mind? Son of a Gun was all dope. Very, very, very free album and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Number one, and to me easily, this guy, if we did a 6 album run, he would be number one. It's Jay-Z, hands
I was
down,
not, I was not expecting that. Wow.
hands down. His first 6. I'm not even gonna say it's 5. His first 6, because the sixth one ends at Blueprint. His first 6 were great. Okay, like 30 years this year, we're celebrating Reasonable Doubt, 1996 that comes out, and at this time he dropped a couple singles. The In My Lifetime, the regular mix, the remix. I Can't Get With That. You know what I'm saying? When Reasonable Doubt drops, and he had Dead Presidents and Can't Knock the Hustle with Mary J. Blige and Ain't No Nigga with Foxy Brown. That was also on the Nutty Professor soundtrack. The Evils, produced by Premier, one of my favorite Premier beats of all time. Can I Live? Every track on there, Feeling It. Every track on there was classic. Right, 97. To me, this is the most underrated Jay-Z album in his catalog. In My Lifetime, Volume 1.
Yes.
That's the first album that his debut on Def Jam, because Reasonable Doubt was on Priority. He goes to Def Jam, debut album, In My Lifetime Volume 1. Phenomenal album, very underrated. Where I'm from, he still performs that now at his shows. He's definitely gonna perform that at Yankee Stadium this summer. That he's still, out of every song on that album, Where I'm From, he still performs. Classic. You had Streets Is Watching. You had Face Off with Source Money, Friend of Foe 98, another Primo beat, fire. Million and One Questions, another Primo beat, fire. I love this album. The only song I didn't like was the Blackstreet joint, The City Is Mine, and the Puff joint. I didn't care for those, but everything else, classic. Volume 2. This was when I became a real Jay-Z fan. When In My Lifetime, Volume 2 drops, Hard Knock Life anthem was everywhere, and that's when he became a household name with that one song and that album, and dropping Jigga What Jigga Who, and It's All Right with Memphis Bleak, one of the better Memphis Bleak features. You had Pain in the Ass on the intro, and Money Cash Shows with DMX. The original version was fire. Rest in peace to DMX. Reservoir Dogs, Eric Sermon beat with the Locks and Source Money and Beans, killed it. Classic album. That's what made him a household name. Volume 3 comes, and you got Do It Again with Beanie Siegel in the Mill. He's taking shots. Jay's taking shots at the Locks on that. 3 cuts in your eyebrows, trying to wild out. Everybody knows the verse. You got the biggest hit song on this album, Big Pimpin' with UGK. That's when New York really paid attention to who UGK was. Before then, they know who they was. When Big Pimpin' drops, they paid attention. You got Watch Me with Dr. Dre, produced by Irv Gotti. Rest in peace to Irv Gotti. this album was fire. Like So Ghetto, another Primo joint. My favorite track on the album. So Ghetto was fire. Love that joint. He was already in his bag at this point, you know. And then 2000 comes, and on Halloween he gives us the Dynasty Rock La Familia with all the artists at that point, you know, Memphis Bleak, Beanie Siegel. You had a Mill on one of my favorite tracks, You, Me, Him, and Her, classic record. Freeway made his debut on 1-900 Hustler, phenomenal album. And whether it's a Jay-Z album or a Crew album, it was still classic. The intro, one of the best intros ever for an album. You know what I'm saying? You got I Just Want to Love You, big hit record produced by the Neptunes. Changed the Game. I love that. I love the remix as well with Dog Pound. That was fire. Guilty Until Proven Innocent with R. Kelly. That was dope. But just an all around, you know, classic album. And like I said, this is the 5th album. We ain't even talking about the Blueprint. That dropped on the worst day in American history on 9/11. And people still went out, even with everything happening. We being bombed by Al Qaeda, and people still went out to the record store and bought that album. That already should show people the power of Jay-Z. When you can have a national tragedy on that scale on 9/11 happen, and people say, "Yo, I still got to go to the record store and get the Blueprint." And you know what other album came out that day? Fabulous. I ain't seen nobody go to the record store to get Fabulous first album. They went to get the Blueprint. That's the power of Jay-Z right there. A legend. That's the 6th album. We ain't even get we on the number 5, the Dynasty album. Number 6 was the Blueprint. There's no other artist that have 6 straight classic albums in hip hop. He's the only one. And that's not Nas. I don't love Nas. It ain't Nas. Because Nostradamus was not a classic. You know what I'm saying? It's not Nas. It ain't Rakim. It ain't nobody else. Jay got 6 classic albums. Nobody else. Nobody else that you could say from his era. Now, if you want to talk about maybe now, maybe I would say maybe Westside Gun, maybe because he has a great catalog, but I don't even think he has a Blueprint in his discography. You know what I'm saying? Jay's the only one. It's not Snoop Dogg because his self album was trash. Dogfall is not a classic.
Snoop Dogg and
No,
Dogg.
that's Snoop Dogg. And he didn't make my list. He might be honorable mention, but we know his discography is shaky. You know what I'm saying? Jay's the only one. So he got to be number 1. This might be the only time you ever see me do a list where Jay-Z is over Michael Jackson. Because that would never happen any other time.
Oh wow. Well, my number 1 is Stevie Wonder.
I want to hear this. You said he had 10 classic albums. I want to hear this.
I think he had like 10 classics in my opinion.
He don't got 10 classics. You're lying. He don't.
So we're gonna start with Music of My Mind. To many people, it's like the true beginning of his classic period and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? This is the one with like Superwoman, Been So Long and everything like that too. Lovely record and everything. And in that same year, he came out with Talking Book, which again, another classic album. You know, you got songs like Superstition. You got songs like motherfucking You Are the Sunshine of My Life and shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Your Baby, You and I. In my opinion, Stevie Wonder's best song and everything like that too. And then that next year, he came out with Innovisions and shit. You know what I'm saying? Which that was another very wonderful album. A lot more funkier and shit like that too. Songs like Living for the City, Golden Lady, All in Love is Fair, Don't You Worry About a Thing. That song right there. My favorite track is Visions. That's my favorite track. All my Genuine fans, y'all should know about that record. That's all I'm going to say. And then we're going to get into Fulfilling This First Finale and everything like that too, which is probably like his most personal album. It's the most spiritual album, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? You got songs like Boogie on Reggae Moment, Smile Please, It Ain't No Use. You know what I'm saying? They won't go. They won't go when I go. Very, very, very dope song. Sorry, I was watching a movie and shit.
Mm,
And then finally, we got Songs in the Key of Life,
mm.
the legendary album and
His
everything.
best
Like,
shit.
yes, it's best album. You have songs like Knocks Me Off My Feet, Isn't She Lovely, I Am Singing, Another Star, all classic songs right here and everything. So, yeah, man, this Stevie Wonder, that classic period, they got this period like Hotter Than July from 1980. I love that one.
That's a good one.
I, I love In Square Circle from 85.
That's good.
87 with Characters. Hell, I'm even gonna throw in Journey Through the Secret Lives of Plants from '79. Even though niggas are the shit on that album, I fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Jungle Fever soundtrack. I mean, come on, man. Like, yeah, Stevie Wonder, man. He just got it, man.
You're glazing Stevie right now, bro. Yeah, come on, come on.
Well,
Characters. You thought Characters was a classic album?
I love
What?
Characters. I love it.
But is it a classic though? That's what I'm asking you.
It's a classic to me, yeah.
And Journey and the Journey album. You thought that was a classic album too?
Journey Through the Secret Life.
Yes.
It's a personal classic.
Oh, personal classic.
It's a
So
personal
so so
classic.
he don't really got 10 classic albums. It's just like some of them are personal classics to you.
Well, what I mean, like 10, I mean
About
about
10. You only named like 7.
well, technically, I said Hotter Than July,
Mhm.
In Square
That's a
Circle.
classic. I think How Did Your Lives a classic.
Yes, it is. In Square Circle from 85.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Very dope. I love Characters. Characters
Mhm.
has some heat in it. Like You Will
Okay,
Know. Come on, man. You Will Know.
that was
Dark
good.
and Lovely. Get It with Michael
I don't,
Jackson.
I don't
Yo,
think he could have had both Prince and Michael. I still don't think it's a classic album though.
come on, both Michael and Stevie hollering at that studio.
That don't mean shit. That don't
Y'all
mean
know
shit.
that fucking they're all hollering and singing. Come on, man.
Stevie Wonder wrote leave me alone. Didn't he write Leave Me Alone for Michael?
You said what?
Didn't Stevie write Leave Me Alone for Michael? That was a big hit from Bad.
I think Michael wrote Leave Me Alone, if I'm not
Michael
mistaken.
wrote that. I heard the rumor that was Stevie that wrote that, or he he collaborated with Michael on that.
Well, I won't be surprised.
You know what I'm saying? It sounds like a Stevie Wonder record though. Woman in Red soundtrack is my favorite Stevie. I don't even know that soundtrack.
That's the one with I just called it. That was okay. That might be the only Stevie album
It
I
had a
think that
great
was.
it had a great record on the soundtrack. This whole soundtrack though.
Give me Jungle Fever over Woman in Red. Give
Yeah,
me that.
Jungle Fever was better. These
These
three
three
words,
words.
that's a classic record by itself.
This is a fun day. Come on, man.
Jungle Fever, title track, and these three words are like the two biggest songs from that soundtrack.
For real. Hell,
That they play in the movie too.
yes. I even love Conversation Peace from '95 though.
You're stretching it now. You're
Hey,
glazing.
hey, hey, hey.
No, don't do that because the man is blind. Like you're glazing him right now.
Dog, chill out. Come on. I actually listened to this shit. I actually have
Okay.
Conversation
So
Peace.
you said earlier he has 10 classic albums. I'm trying to figure out the 10.
I named like 8. You were listening.
You name personal classics though.
Hell.
That's not majority classic. You name personal classics that you like. Like I
Okay.
like Redman Doctor Name 2000. Is it a classic though? I think it's a personal classic for me. I don't know if it's a classic for everybody else.
I'll say it's an arguable classic.
That's
'Cause
not
I've
the
heard many,
same as that's not the same as what we're talking about though.
but I know what you mean though. But that has some heat. Looking back, that did have some heat.
Yeah.
But nah, you said because he's blind. Those laser guns.
You're glazing him because he's blind. That's what it is.
Maybe I'm just a lover of good music.
Oh, okay. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You have any honorable mention?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, since
What's your honorable
technically
mention?
said six album run, I might have to throw in Van Halen.
Okay.
Now, they didn't make my original list because even though I love the David Lee Roth era of Van Halen,
Mhm.
and I do say it's like a near perfect run, there was still a little bumps in the road. I love Van Halen Run, one, Running with the Devil, Eruption. That album changed rock music forever. But
Right.
then Van Halen 2, while it was good, it didn't live up to like the first album and the one that followed. I feel like it was more of like a B-sides kind of album. Like they rushed. You can tell that they rushed it.
Mhm.
And they come out with 1980 Woman and Children First. Classic album, in my opinion. That was like the most darkest album. That was also the first album Eddie Van Halen used the synths and stuff like that. A lot of people think it was Fair Warning. Nah, it was actually Woman and Children First. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Van Halen nigga though. I know my shit though. And
Yes.
1987. You said what?
Yeah, I know you. I only like two Van Halen albums. So
Actually, you like more than two because
I liked what called 84. That's my introduction to them was Jump, the 84 album. And then what's the one with the red cover?
Dive It Down.
Dive It Down was dope. And
Even like
I don't what else did I like from them other than that?
you said you like Fair Warning. When we did Fair Warning, you said this was actually pretty good. You said it wasn't your
I gotta
favorite. You
go
said
back and get that one. I don't remember what's on that.
yeah, Fair Warning. Is like their most weirdest, darkest album. They had like night movies. So
Right.
This Is Love, Unchained, Unchained, nigga.
I remember So This Is Love. I remember that song.
That was my least favorite song on the album.
You didn't like that one? Okay.
It didn't fit the like. It was like it didn't really fit the album, in my opinion. It was cool, but
Right.
it felt more like a Van Halen 2 album, Van Halen
Right.
2 song. And then you have Diver Down, which this one, when I first heard it, I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't really care for it too much
Mhm.
because he was kind of rushed and it was more commercial. But then over the years, I do kind of like the production on the album, and I do like
Right.
what they did with the covers. Like their cover of "Dancing in the Street" by Martha and the Vandellas.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like that way more than the old Pretty Woman cover because I know that was like the big song, but that was a perfect song for David Lee Roth to sing and
Right.
everything like that too. And then you had the vocals from everybody, including Michael Anthony, which a lot of motherfuckers should know. Michael Anthony's background vocals, whenever he background vocal with David Lee Roth,
Right.
that was the key ingredient to the Lee Roth sound.
Mike, what up?
That too. What up, Mike? And that's kind of why I kind of don't like the Sammy Hagar sound because they try to minimize Michael Anthony, but I'm gonna cross that bridge when I cross that bridge. And then we got me like Tri's favorite album from them, 1984.
Yes.
1984 and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? This is an album I feel like if it wasn't for their first album, this would be like their famous album to date and everything. This is the one with Jump.
Mhm.
I love that record. Oh, nah, Hot for Teacher. I
Yes.
got it bad, got it bad. Come on, man.
Mhm.
Panama.
Yeah,
I'll
Panama
wait
was
like nigga. Come on, man. Don't fuck with me tonight, boys. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me tonight. All right. And then I'm gonna throw in, and this is gonna be kind of surprising and shit like that too. I'm throwing Teddy Pendergrass.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Teddy
Oh yeah,
Pendergrass.
I do feel like his first couple of albums were great until the car accident happens.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but
Right. I said that on here when we did the discography breakdown. Like after the car accident, he wasn't the same.
because like the accident limited his voice too. That's another thing I forget.
Yeah.
But then we're gonna get to a self-titled album, self-titled debut. Y'all don't know. This is classic Philly soul. Songs like "The Whole Town's Laughing at Me."
Yes.
Like, don't play that song if you have a broken heart and shit like that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right.
Easy, got to take it easy. One thing I noticed about his first album, it wasn't as sexual as his future albums and stuff. Like it was more like it felt like a more mature album, like stuff like that too. Like I can see the whole town laughing at me done by when he was on Hell Melvin and the Blue Notes, maybe and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Maybe and if I had, and then you have Life is a Song Worth Singing. One of my favorite TP albums. You have songs like Close the Door. Come on, man. Hip hop killed that sample. Like any hip hop record that was popping like in 94 to like 97, they sample like every other hip hop album, every other hip hop song, they sample that.
Right.
You have Get Up, Get Down, Get Fun, Get Loose. Everyone knows that one. Life is a Song Worth Singing. You know what I'm saying? And then we got 1979's Teddy. Man, this album right here, this might be my favorite Teddy Pendergrass album. This is the one with Come and Go With Me. Turn Off the Lights, nigga.
Mm.
If you know like I know, Do Me. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Even the album cover alone
Oh yeah.
is iconic and shit like that too. Like, come on, man. Then you got TP. I'm not gonna lie, I love Teddy Pendergrass, but some of his album cover names was kind of lazy. You already had an album called Teddy Pendergrass, then Teddy, now 1980 is TP. I'm just like, come on, nigga. But this is actually my second favorite Teddy Pendergrass album. This is the one with the hitter, like, Is It Still Good to You? Written by Ashford and Simpson.
Right.
I love to cover People Bryce. He did that with Stephanie Mills. I mean, this was Teddy Pendergrass at his motherfucking prime.
Right.
And one thing I just realized, Camp Gamble and the Hub did not do anything on this album. That's a thing right there.
Right.
Like he was working with like a lot more outside producers like Ashford and Simpson, Caesar Womack, who was Bobby Womack's brother. But the Philadelphia connection still happened because you had McFadden and Whitehead on the album too. Yes. McFadden and Whitehead. Ain't no stopping us now, niggas and shit.
Right.
Rest in peace to both McFadden and Whitehead, by the way. And then you got It's Time for Love, which is my third favorite album. This is the one that has my favorite Teddy Pendergrass song. You're my latest, my greatest inspiration. Keep on loving me. I can't live without your love. Oh my, oh nigga.
Right.
Oh my god. Like, let me tell y'all, motherfucker. Y'all talk about Chris Brown and shit. Like, Chris Brown, I like Chris Brown, but y'all talk about Chris Brown and all this Leon Thomas, which he cool too, but TP was that.
He got one album. He got one good album. Come on.
I'm just saying, yo. But and look, It's Time for Love. Teddy Pendergrass was also doing the lean and shit. Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all over if it's like the lean and shit. Y'all don't even look at that shit. But
Right.
I'm gonna say one more motherfucker.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'm gonna say two. I'm gonna say two more because I've been in the R&B bag lately. I ain't gonna hold you. Barry White, my deep voice father and shit.
Barry White.
Again, I could have easily did a 7-album run, and I'm not just glazing him because he's a deep voice nigga, though. Because try be thinking some shit, you know.
I only said that about Stevie because you said he got 10 classic albums. Now I'm like, I don't think he got 10.
Hell, I didn't even mention where I'm coming from 1971. The real unofficial beginning of the classic period. Let's keep it a buck.
Okay.
See, that's 9.
I think even Stevie could see that he don't got 10 classic albums, bro. You get it. Yeah, after it's one thing if you mention Hotter Than July and In a Squared Circle. I'm with you on that. Then you saying characters and Journey to that, whatever the fuck the title is.
Come on, man. Y'all be shitting on characters, man. Characters is
Listen,
a bop,
I will tell you the last Stevie album I listened to was that 91 Jungle Fever soundtrack. That was it. I ain't listened to anything from him after that.
I feel you. I definitely feel you on that. But yeah, man. I definitely like Stevie though. But Barry White, I Got So Much to Give, his first album. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the Stone Gone album, which those two albums pretty much are like back to back and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? You got Can't Get Enough and everything, where he was just showing off by that album and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Then you have Just Another Way to Say I Love You, and then stuff like that. And then finally, you got the classic Let the Music Play and shit too. So yeah, and then I might end it up with some hip hop and shit like that too. Now I thought long and hard about this, and I'm gonna be real with you. I gotta go with Ghostface.
He's on my list too. He's on my list. Yes.
Now I have to think long and hard and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? And I said to myself, you know what? Ghost, out of all the Wu niggas, Ghost deserves this shit.
He has the best. He has the best catalog in Wu. It's not even a debate. He has the best catalog.
Exactly. Like songs like Iron Man, which Ghostface don't even fucking like,
Right.
and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? And then you have Supreme Clientele, his second album and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Which the less said about the sequel, the better. You know. And then you got motherfucking Bulletproof Wallets. I don't give a fuck. I fuck with
Love that
Bulletproof
album.
Wallets.
Love it.
Yeah, man. And then after Bulletproof Wallet, we got Pretty Tony album, another album I used to
Another
not fuck
solid
with.
one. Definitely.
This shit. That actually has my favorite Ghostface song, Holla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love that record. Then finally we got Fish Scale.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about Fish Scale and shit like that. That's the shit that makes motherfuckers want to be drug dealers and shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
All right. Is there any artist that didn't make the list that should be on here?
There's so many artists
How
trying.
many? How many classics? How many? Not classics. Did Keith Sweat have a 5 album run? What you think?
You said what? You were breaking up.
Did Keith Sweat have a 5 album run?
I'm gonna be real with you. Honestly, no, because the third album, while okay, it didn't really live to that as the first two. And even the second album, here's the thing: Make It Last Forever, classic. Love the album.
Mm.
I'll Give All My Love to You, another great album. Not as good as Make It Last Forever though. But then 1991, Keep It Coming. That one was pretty decent. He went for like a more New Jack Swing, a heavier New Jack Swing kind of sound, like, which again was cool. But even with Make It Last Forever, it was New Jack Swing, but it was like a more smooth out New Jack Swing.
Yeah.
Then Get Up On It, in my opinion, that might be his best album since Make It Last Forever, which no one talks about.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the self-titled album, which is another great album. So
Classic.
yeah, classic.
I think that's his last great album. Was that one?
I like some joints from the '98 album.
Was that what's the name of that album with forgot the name of that album. He had a joint on there with Too Short and Eric Sermon.
Uh, hold on. I gotta look at it. I think
Is
that's
that the '98 album you're talking about?
I gotta look up the name of that shit. Hold on.
That was a good album. It's not a classic album though.
It's not.
Kool and the Gang. Do they have a 5 album run?
Who?
Kool and Gang.
That's your boys. That's your boys and shit.
You wasn't Kool and the Gang. You wasn't into Kool and the Gang?
I told you I like that earlier shit. Like everything, like they. I like them when they were more jazzier.
Mm.
But when they started doing that weird shit, when JT came in the group, it was okay. But then after 1981, I fell off of them.
Okay.
Like when they started talking stupid shit like Joanna and Cherish, Celebration.
That's their best shit.
Celebration. I hate that song, man.
Parliament. Do they have a 5 album run?
Honestly, you could put Parliament and Funkadelic together. Hell the fuck yeah.
Okay.
But let me be fair. You said Parliament. Okay.
Parliament. Well, I mean, both. But Parliament, Funkadelic.
I know, but you yeah, okay. Let me Parliament. I would say kicking off with like standing on the verge of getting it on.
Mm.
No, excuse me. That was Funkadelic. Excuse me. Up for the Downstroke 74, Chocolate City, Mothership Connection, Clones of Dr. Funkenstein, and the Funkadelic versus the Placebo Syndrome.
Mm.
Now, Funkadelic, this is where it kind of gets a little tricky because I'm gonna say, they actually have two. But if I were to pick, I would say Maggot Brain, America Eats Its Young, Cosmic Slop, Standing on the Verge of Getting It On, and Let's Take It to the Stage. But I would also say if you want to go for another 5 album run, because there are some later Funkadelic heads. I would say Hardcore Jollies, One Nation Under a Groove, Uncle Jim Wants You, um, Connections and Disconnections, which that was done by the original members of Funkadelic. Look at
Right.
that crazy story. And the Electric Spanking of War Babies. If you a diehard Funkadelic motherfucker.
Okay. All right. So we ain't miss nobody. What about Mariah Carey? Does she have a 5 album run?
Mm.
I feel like she does, but she didn't make my list because I don't. Her first 3 albums were very pop. I don't like pop Mariah. I like hip hop Mariah. You know what I'm saying? Like by the time she came out with about to say honey with Butterfly, like I like that Mariah, like Butterfly, Rainbow. You know what I'm saying? Even Charm Bracelet, even though it was a shitload of collabs on Charm Bracelet. Charm
If you want to,
Bracelet. Huh?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. You notice I skipped Glitter. Glitter was dope though, but I arguably you could say Mariah first 5 were like her best shit. But then she got Emancipation of Mimi, which was like the 2000s.
Realistically, if I would say, according to the mainstream,
Mhm.
I would say the Christmas album, Daydream.
I don't like the Christmas album though. That's why I wouldn't put it on the list though. But like
You,
her first 5 without the Christmas album, she could make it. I just don't like the pop Mariah stuff like that.
you know why I say the Christmas album?
Mm.
Because that album was really the template for a lot of Christmas albums for the
Right.
late 90s and 2000s. And
Yeah.
realistically speaking, that's actually one of the best selling albums. I think that's like the best selling Christmas album of all
Right.
time. I
Yeah.
think that Daydream,
Yeah.
Honey, or excuse me, did I say? I mean a
Butterfly.
Butterfly. Excuse me,
Yeah.
Butterfly. Um, Rainbow and Glitter.
So that would be your 5 right there.
I feel like realistically speaking, if you ask the mainstream now, yes,
Right.
but if you was to ask me, my main 5,
Now, Boyz II Men don't got 5. They got 3. Their first 3 was their best shit. After that, I checked out.
I'm gonna be real with you. I would have to say the Christmas album to Glitter because Charm Bracelet, I do tolerate it, but I'm not gonna put it on the same level as Rainbow and Daydream and stuff like that too.
Well,
But
I would say 4 for Boyz II Men. The Christmas album, I do like the Christmas album for them. I
you
would
know
say
what? Yeah,
I say 4,
you
4. But when the 2000s come in, I didn't care for their stuff.
honestly, if you want to be technical, I would count the reissue of Coolie High Army because they added like "End of the Road" and "It's So Hard to Say Goodbye."
Fuck no, Jodeci. Fuck no, Jodeci got 3. They don't got 5. Hell no.
Now y'all just naming both.
Nah, y'all just naming shit now. You know what I'm saying? They don't even got 5 albums. They got 4. So they would be automatically they'd be out of here, out of this account. You know, I got Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill,
Ooh, yes.
very underrated. From 91 up until 2000, I'm including Skull and Bones because like that was the time when I got into like the new metal stuff with Korn and Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit. It was a double album. It was like rap and rock. But their first album, the self-titled from 91, is my Find My classic. When you had joints like How I Could Just Kill a Man and Hand on the Pump, Latin Lingo was fire. Stone is the Way to Walk. That's the first one. Black Sunday, my favorite one from 93. You had what's the joint? Forgot the name of this. What's the name of the single from the first from the second album? I forgot. The first single from the second album. I forgot the name of it. Huh?
From Cypress Hill.
Insane in the Brain. Insane in the Brain.
Yeah.
You had When the Ship Goes Down, I Ain't Going Out Like That. Classic album, Lick a Shot, Cock the Hammer. Third album, a lot of people feel like it's their best album, Temples of Boom, 95. They had throw your guns in the air, Illusions, California, Everybody Must Get Stoned, 5 Mile classic. Cypress Hill 4, very slept on. I like that album. You had Dr. Green Thumb and Tequila Sunrise. You had from the window of my room, very dope album. And Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones was dope. We had Rap Superstar and Rock Superstar. The Rap Superstar version had Eminem and Nori. You had High Life, Can't Get the Best of Me. So I'm including Skull and Bones. I think they had a phenomenal 5 album run. After that, it gets shaky. You know, Stone Raiders was dope. It wasn't great, you know, till Death Do Us Part, but I think their first 5 was like their best in their catalog. Like you mentioned before, Ghostface Killer, best Wu member with the catalog. You know, he has I never heard a bad Ghostface album, so I think he has to be on there. And I'm gonna go with Conway the Machine. You know, Westside Gun to me has the best catalog in Griselda, but Conway has the best albums, in my opinion. You know, I'm not even including like his mixtapes. You know, the GOAT album and you know Everyone is Food series. That was great, but it's just his albums alone. To me, he has the best albums that came out. You know what I'm saying? From a King to a God in 2020 was fire. Love that joint. The joint Lemon with Method Man, one of Method Man's best features. Yeah, Doe and Damani, Alchemist on that with Derringer, fire. You know, you had Juvenile Hell with Havoc, Flea Lord, and Banks. I believe that was a single. That was fire. God Don't Make Mistakes. Another great album from Conway. You know, you had Piano Love, John Woo Flick. You had Tear Gas with Ross and Wheezy. You know, Wild Chapters with T.I. and Novel. That was fire. Definitely enjoyed that. Chanel Pearls with Jill Scott. And you actually had Jill Scott rapping on that. You know what I'm saying? And that was dope to hear Jill Scott rapping with Conway. Definitely enjoyed that. Won't He Do It in 2023. You had the joints Super Bowl and Crucifix, Quarters, The Chosen. Love the production. You know, he had different producers on that, Justice League and Juicy J, Crisis, J.R. Swifts. That was a solid album. Slant Face Killer in 2024, another solid Conway album. You had the joint Muddy with Stove God Cooks. You had Ken Express with Larry June. You had Meth Back with Method Man and SK the King and Flea Lord. Swiss Beats on Ninja Man. Vertino with Joey Badass. Another solid album from Conway. And you got from last year, You Can't Kill God with Bullets, one of the best albums of 2025. You know, you had joints like The Lightning Above the Adriatic Sea, Diamonds with Rock Marcy, which was a single, Hell Let Loose with Tony Yayo and DJ Who Kid. That sounded like a G Unit song from like back in the G Unit mixtape era. You had New Devils with G Herbo was fire. Mahogany Walls. I loved it. I think Conway has a solid album catalog and mixtape catalog, and so I had to mention somebody from Griselda other than Westside Gun. I said I got to go with Conway.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna end this off right here because I gotta get ready for work in the morning. But this has definitely been a fun ass list.
Oh yeah.
And definitely been a fun ass list and shit. What you got planned this week? You got anything?
Friday, going live with Nick Raw Takes on Filtered. We got doing our wrestling predictions for Backlash on Saturday. We might have a special guest. I'm not sure yet. But we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna talk about AZ got his album coming out, Do or Die 3. That's dropping on Friday. We're gonna do like a little quick synopsis of what we think about the album. Not an album review, just what we think, giving our favorite tracks, our least favorite. And yeah, so stay tuned for that. Raw Takes on Filtered, 9 p.m. Friday night. and I got another unboxing vid dropping on the weekend, and yeah, just stay tuned.
Okay, okay. All right. So me and Mike, we're gonna record the Ray review and stuff like that too. We're gonna do a review on Ray and shit. Tomorrow after he gets off work. I mean, if you're free for that, well, I don't know if
Ray,
you like.
the biopic Ray,
Yes, sir.
I haven't seen that in years.
Oh shit.
What time y'all doing that?
He gets off work like around 11:30, 12. So we're just gonna probably pre-record it whenever he gets off work.
Okay.
But yeah, just let me know if you're down for that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Other than that, just got some music shit coming up and everything like that too. I'm trying to get some shit done by next week so I can get ready for these DJ gigs later on this month. So y'all definitely be on the lookout for that. But other than that, thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you so much, Try, for this. Actually, this was your idea. This was actually a dope ass idea and shit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man.
all right, and y'all make sure y'all have a good night.
All
Peace.
right. Peace.